Hi, I would like to explain the parable of the sower and the seeds found in the book of Matthew chapter 13 verses 3 through 9. Jesus provides a greater understanding in detail of this parable to his disciples in verses 19 through 23 of the same chapter of 13 in the book of Matthew. And I would like to expound and try to eliminate obscurity in some of your minds, because I've heard relatively frequently over the years some ministers providing reference to this parable that it somehow is integrated into the doctrine that some people believe that a genuine Christian can lose their salvation. Well, I'm here to obliterate that view and explain to you that this is false and it is not true in the slightest. And we're going to start in the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 16, and it reads, I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. Now, the word that I need for you to emphasize and clasp within your heart and mind as the baseline blanket over providing a clear interpretation of truth concerning this parable of the sower and the seeds. And that is the word root. Jesus said, I am the root. That's paramount. It's imperative that you hold on to what Jesus stated in the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 16. I am the root. Okay? So now, let's read. We're going to read in Matthew chapter 13, starting in the latter portion of verse 3. And it reads, Behold, a sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away, and some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to verse 19. Jesus is again speaking here when he says, When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, by and by he is offended. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. But he that receives seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word, and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit, and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. Now, what I wanted to bring your attention to, by and large, the example used here of the seeds being sown is the one that was sown among the stony places, because a plant actually sprung up and it withered away. And some people might think in their logic, well, the seed, which is the gospel message offer, was taken by someone, and there was an actual plant that sprung up. Well, I'm here to tell you though, remember now. Remember what I told you was paramount and imperative about Revelation chapter 22, verse 16, when Jesus says, I am the root. Okay? And in verse 6 of chapter 13 of Matthew, it says, and when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. They had no Jesus, right? They had no Jesus. So therefore, it's the root that matters. And in 21, it's referring to that stony place where the seed was sown, or seeds were sown, and it says in the first part, yet hath he not root in himself. There's no Jesus in himself. He has not received Jesus Christ. He does not have the gospel. He is not born again. And it says, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, by and by he is offended. So when it talks about in verse 6, when it says the sun was up and they were scorched, the sun that Jesus is talking about is the tribulation or persecution arising because of the word. Okay? So we know for sure that's the most prominent example of this parable that some ministers and teachers and some Christians believe that you can lose your salvation. Is because there was an actual plant that rose up. But it clearly said that there was no root. And Jesus is the root. So remember this. The other ones did not even accept the gospel offer because of the other variables, and that's more easily understood as you read through. But I wanted to clarify to you the plant that grew up from that seed, that it was not a born-again Christian. Okay? So you can rest assured in your salvation. I love you. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Treat other people as you would want to be treated. Forgive, for he has forgiven you. Be compassionate. God bless you.